Good evening, gentlemen. If you can hear me, go ahead and turn on your cameras and open your speakers. And we'll get started. I see Mac and Nessip, is that right?
That's right.
Did I say that right, Nessip?
Yes, you did.
Oh, good. Okay. Mac, are you with us? Need your cameras on, guys. Hello.
Hi.
You look familiar.
Yeah, I was in your class before I took the exam.
You sure were. Well, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Glad you're here. I'm a little under the weather. They probably told you that, right?
Yeah, she told us. Hope you're feeling better.
Thank you. Bear with me. We'll get us through the next few hours, I hope.
Right. No
We'll wait
worries.
till Max with us. I don't know who else is going to be on here. If it's just the three of us, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. But we'll get through what we got to get through and go from there. Let me talk to you for a minute, Nessa. Are you fully on board? Did you get through everything? And where are you at this moment?
Yeah, I have my first meeting with Pamela. I think it was the first week of January. Then my dad passed, so I took a break and I'm back on board again. So I have another meeting, my second meeting with Pamela this Wednesday.
Okay.
So
Well,
yeah,
I'm sorry for your dad's passing. My
thank
heart
you.
goes out to you.
Thank you.
You passed your exam?
Yes.
Yay. And so you're okay, and you're going to be with Greater Columbus, is that right?
Yes, I'm already, yeah,
You're
with
already
you.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, where's Mac? Are you with us, Mac? Hopefully. Not gonna cough in your ear. Sorry. Um, I hope he tunes in here. Can hear, trying to get webcam. Okay, buddy, take your time, no worries. We'll wait for you. See if anybody else shows up. He's having trouble with his camera. Mac,
Yeah.
I would suggest you log off and try to come back in. See if that helps you. Ah, hello.
Hello.
We see you now.
Can you hear me too?
Yeah, I can hear you. See you, hear
Alrighty.
you fine. Everything's cool. All right, gentlemen, it might just be the three of us tonight. I don't know, but if somebody else joins us, that'll be fine. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to do the first leg of a 5-day training on Fast Track, which is to get you where you need to be very quickly. What I want to do is I'd like to spend some time together just getting to know each other and where you are in your pursuit, where you've been in before, and then we'll talk a little bit about personal stuff and then get into some some of the things that I want to share with you tonight. So Ness, if we started with you, why don't we stay with you? And how long is your journey? How long have you been doing this? How long have you wanted to be in real estate? Tell us more about you.
Yeah, I'm new. I haven't done this before. And previously, I still have my consulting company. I do procurement, but I've been always interested in real estate, and that's what I got in. So,
What got you to real estate? What's your why for getting into real estate?
I think I met so many bad realtors.
Do you know do you know how many times I've heard that? That is not good.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? I think I can do a better job.
Obviously.
Hopefully, we'll see.
That's a terrible reason for getting into a profession because
Yeah,
there's so
no,
many
that's
lousy
not the
ones. I
only
want to be a
reason.
good
I'm
one.
kidding. I'm kidding.
That's pathetic, but I'm glad you're here. And I know you will not repeat the sins of the others. So you're here and that you're with a great company and it's a good start. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We are going to have some fun these few days together. So hang in there. I promise you it'll be fun. Mac, tell us about you, what got you into real estate, what's your why for being here, and a little bit about you.
I'm also new. I just got my real estate license 3 days ago.
Yay.
And before this, I was working at Fanatics. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I do.
Okay. Um, and I basically just got into real estate because I was looking for more fulfilling work. And I kind of think it's just an interesting field. So kind of why I got into it.
Well, it's definitely interesting and it's definitely challenging. There'll be a lot ahead of you. Is the hat from where you were working?
Yeah, I got a lot of free stuff there.
Nothing like the swag, right?
Right.
Good stuff. Well, you're going to turn that into KW stuff, I can tell you. If I were in front of you,
Oh
typically
yeah.
I'd be just, I would have loved to have been there with you in the KW training room and, in person and shared a lot with you. And I kind of set it up so it's decorated. It gives you some real inspiration in terms of, what you're in for. Are you also going to be with Greater Columbus? Which
Yeah.
market center?
Greater Columbus.
Greater Columbus. Okay, good. Pardon me. Good to know. Well, what's going to happen over the next 5 nights together is that fast track starts very simply. We learn about each other. We learn to be friends. Typically, if there's more in the class, we all become friends. By the time Friday comes around, it's bittersweet when we say goodbye to each other, but I kind of throw the birds out of the nest and you guys are ready to fly. So what you're going to be learning over the next few nights is all about you. It's not about me. So I want you to bring your questions, your ideas, your thoughts. If you don't understand something, you want more information about what we're going to talk about, by all means, let me know how I can help you because this really is about launching your career. We'll talk about a lot of the beginnings, about being in business, what that means, and so we'll talk a lot about that tonight. But you'll find that each night rolls into the next one, into the next evening, as we progress further and further into the actual practice of real estate. Tonight is going to be more business planning, goal setting, and Nessep, I know that you've been in business for yourself, so you probably are an old hand at what I'm going to teach you, but I hope you'll pick up a few new ideas as long as it pertains to real estate that I think can help you. I do want to tell you that at the end of each class, I kind of give you some challenges, which are really real business challenges, where I want you to do a couple of things. For example, tonight I'll ask you to write a small business plan, and I'm going to give you the outline, which is only 7 steps. But I think if you can give me the next night, kind of where we were the previous night, in your ahas and your takeaways, I want to know what stood out to you, what was meaningful to you. What did you capture and learn tonight that can be, bounced back to me tomorrow night? So I want to make sure that each night you get something really, at least 1 or 2 things that you can carry forward into your real estate practice that were meaningful to you. So that's kind of the exercise. That's kind of what we're going to, be doing together. But again, this is very interactive. I want us all just to talk, and this, believe me, is not going to be a 3-hour monologue because I don't think my voice will take it. So stop me, interrupt me, ask questions, talk to each other if you have something going on. You're both fairly new at real estate, but sharing a bad experience is not something I wanted to hear, but I totally get it. I've heard it very, very often. In fact, more often than I'm comfortable hearing. But anyway, so all of this is going to be a step up learning for you over the next 5 days. We're going to start tonight with business planning and time management, talking about your business plan, and so on. Tomorrow is going to be lead generation. Many people get into this business and they're terrified and they go, oh my God, how am I going to get leads? How do I generate leads? What am I going to do? I don't know how to do that. Well, I can assure you that there's going to be tomorrow night, you're going to be so excited because there's so many things that I'll share with you that are very exciting about your capability and ability to grow your business. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Wednesday will be buyers, working with buyers. Thursday will be working with sellers and open houses and all that kind of stuff. And then we wrap up on Friday with the actual contracts and we go through the contract. I hope I'm well enough, I'm not sure I will be, to be in person, but tonight we're here for sure, probably tomorrow night. And I don't want to infect anybody. So I want to make sure that, I keep my distance, but I'll do the best I can for you. When it gets to contracts, do both of you have your white books? Do you have your notebooks? Did you get a notebook?
Um, actually, Rachel emailed us,
Okay,
at least to me. Uh, yeah.
cool. All right, so
I
you
got
you have,
one. I got
okay,
one email too, but it's sideways.
can you turn it the other way?
It's on my computer screen, so I'm not sure if there's a setting I can do or something to
So if we
rotate
were in
it.
the room together, what I tell my students is take each section each night or each day, take it out of the book because it's a voluminous book and there's a lot of stuff. And so as we go through it, I want you to be able to make your notes. I'm big on highlighters. I would also save you a whole lot of writing if you can highlight and make your notes by things that are really important. I will tell you when to write things down and when to make notes on it that I think you need a note on this and a note on that. I want you to be able to go back to some good training to the extent that you can follow the notes and say, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Here's a good, part that I really want to bring into my business and so on. So, I know it's a voluminous for you to print out. If you go into the office, there are white books in the training room that you can have that you should be able to have. Those are the physical books. If we were in the office, that's what you get tonight. So bear with me tonight. It's not going to be, so much that we can't follow along. I'm going to try to flip through some of these things that I've got to bring up and share with you on the screen to show you. And we'll just take it one step at a time and do the best we can, okay? But taking notes is a good thing, and having a highlighter when you get ready to do contracts on Friday is really, you're going to thank me forever for having a highlighter available to you on Friday. So let's just go from there. I'm looking at my notes for a minute. Let me just give you a little bit of background. I don't know if you guys know anything about me. Um, I was a realtor, practicing realtor up until June, and I put my license on a hold, in a holding pattern. I made it inactive so that I could fully teach and train. It's something I've been working up to for the last many years, and I love it. I really enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. And if I can share what I know and share what I do with students, then I think that's my calling from now going forward. So after 22 years, I stuck that, made it inactive. I can, bring it out anytime, but I don't see that happening. I also teach the 20-hour post for Ohio Realtors for the state. I've been asked to do that this year, so that's a new gig for me. And I've been blessed to work with the Keller Williams group, Keller Williams Greater Columbus and Excel for the last, well, it'll be a year in May that we've done this together, and we've used this fast track program to get you guys kicked off so that you're comfortable jumping into real estate. What happens very often is you get uh, thrown into a situation, anyone who passes the exam where you really have to pick a broker, you have to choose a broker before you actually get, to know anybody or what's going on and so on. And so you're kind of forced into it. You guys did really well and accepted the challenge to be with Greater Columbus because they're so committed to teaching and training you that you're going to have a head start above so many others. There are about 10,000 or so licensees in this market, in the Columbus Realtors market, and we all fish in the same pond. And so it's going to be very competitive. And you'll also find that you're setting up your own business so that your own brand is going to be really important to who you are and what you do. Even though you're going to fly the Keller Williams flag for Greater Columbus, you are in fact your own brand, and you will be building your brand to grow your real estate business. So that's really important that you understand that. So that C on your hat, Matt, is going to be whatever your Greater Columbus or your Matt Gee real estate company is going to be called or whatever. So that's all part of it. Let me see the slides we're going to do in just a minute. I just want to make sure that I've explained everything about my background and who I am and what I'm doing. Anyway, the teaching part is what I really love, and it's what I'm going to be giving you over the next 4 or 5 days together. So again, be sure to ask me questions, stop me. If you want to have more details on something, we will do that together. So the first thing I like to talk about is, let me get into my slides for a minute and see if I can't bring some of those up, and we'll jump in here real quick. All right, can you see this slide?
Yep.
Yes.
Both, okay, cool. All right. So let me get to the next one. All right, I told you a little bit about me. We won't dwell on that. I don't look like that when I'm sick, obviously. All right, we talked about our whys. It's really important to start with. I'm going to go back to that for just a minute. It's really important that we examine not only why we're in real estate, but who we are really in the grand scheme of things. We are called upon to be fiduciaries. Have either of you heard that word before? Nessa,
Yes.
what does that word mean to you?
I mean, I can tell you from the exam, it's your fiduciary duty. There are obedience, there's loyalty, there's multiple other things that you owe to your client.
That's correct.
You have your best interest in heart for them. So that's
Yes.
in a nutshell.
Mac, what do you think it means?
I agree with what he said because I hadn't heard the word before until the real estate exam. When he first said it a second ago, I actually forgot it till he said fiduciary duty, and I was like, oh yeah, that was on the exam. So um, same thing, just loyalty to buyers and
So obedience, loyalty, right?
yeah.
Okay. Did anybody ever tell you guys that the way to remember it is old car?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go, old car, and you can rattle it right off. But in a word, if you had to take one word to describe fiduciary, it's a position of trust. I mean, you are entrusted with so much information, family information, personal information, lending information, why people are moving, what position they're in, who's getting divorced, who's getting married, who's having a baby, and so on. There's so much information that we have available to us that is meant to be kept confidential or at least not shared readily unless we have to or are able to. That a position of fiduciary is a really just an incredible position to be in. It's really a gift. It's something that we should aspire to be, or fiduciaries in general. So the only other thing that I would say is we understand our whys, we understand why you got into this, and we understand that you do understand the word fiduciary. So what I want to talk about a little bit about, though, as we talk about fiduciary, is our own personal level of core values or integrity, if you will. I say this because I teach ethics. It's one of the core classes I teach. And I am reminded all the time when I teach that class that how do these things happen? How do these infractions happen? How do people go astray in our business? How do they give us such a bad reputation and a bad name? And I don't have to remind you. By the way, did you both go to Hondros?
No.
I
Where'd you
did.
go, Mac?
Zane State.
Oh, cool. All right. And did you pass your exam on the first go?
Yeah. Yep.
Ah, look at you.
Barely. I only passed by 1 point.
I don't care. You passed, right?
Right.
That's
I
in the
just
taillight.
I was happy when I saw it because I was like, ooh. And then I got it. I was like, all right.
That's in the taillights, my friend. That's back there. Adios. So yeah, our personal core values, it's what drives us every day. And more importantly, I want you to think about this for just a minute. Who are we really when nobody's looking? That's the real test. You know, when we can look at that person back that's looking back at us in the mirror and say, did a good job, you made the right decision. There's going to come a time in your career, I promise you, that you're going to have to fire a client. You're going to have to step away. You're going to have to move on from somebody who's testing you or challenging you to violate your core ethics, your personal ethics, your integrity, all of the standards that you have that have been, you know, impounded in you, much less your personal integrity levels, and say, you know what, I'm just not your guy. I'm just not your guy. I'm going to get you somebody else if you'd like, but I got to step away. This is just not something that I can do with you or for you. And when I have a big class, I have a show of hands. How many of you have filed a client? And a lot of hands go up. And I said, that's probably the best feeling day of your life. And they all go, absolutely, absolutely. It's like a weight off my shoulders because they're just going to drag you down and they're going to make you go to a place that you don't want to go. The ethical standards that we have are challenged every day in the things that we do, opening lock boxes, hearing information, sharing information, writing contracts, all the different things that we do, all of the different responsibilities that we have. Core values and ethics play a big role in it. So just going down these little checkpoints, core values are principles that can run a business and should run your business. it's what drives you every day. So your core principles are just the foundation and the very basis of your business. And if you carry that into your real estate business, that's going to be a really important part of you to assemble when you do your business plan. Your core values are going to play a big role in laying out that foundational structure. When you ask yourself, what do I stand for? You know, as again, who am I really when nobody's looking? I want to be able to look that person in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with that person. I feel good about that person, and be able to move on. And then when you figure out your core values, which we should have figured out by now, we just live them out to include bringing those into our business and having that as a just a formula for everything that we do going forward. When core values are not understood, we can't possibly bring them into our business or implement them and follow them. And then people that really understand their core values and live by them are highly successful. Most of the successful, really successful people in the world, with few exceptions who go to the other side, are really very successful because they live by a certain creed. They don't compromise their values. And of course, we go back to the word fiduciary, and that really amplifies that word right now. Any questions or comments about that? I know I'm blathering on about it, but it's really an important part because our code of ethics is really the values that we have and will be taking from here forward into our business. Any challenges you've had, anybody you've seen, or I want your stories too. If you, Ness, if you told me some pretty bad dudes out there, so have you run into something where it was an ethical issue maybe?
It's I don't well ethical issues, not really, but it's
Okay.
just not I wasn't like getting the help I wanted when I was buying a house, and so far I purchased like 3 houses, well, four, and it was just, you know, I basically found my own house, and I had to bring a real estate agent after the fact that I find it. Like, so I don't know.
Makes you a little resentful, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was just okay, what do you get paid for then if you're not helping me? You're not directing me to the right person for finances or mortgages, or you need to like, are there any restrictions, and are there any problems on the deed, or stuff like that. It's just, you
You should
know.
not have to dogtail an agent ever. In fact, everything that you've just described, you're going to be talking about this week and learning this week. We don't do that. Good agents don't do that. Good realtors really, really step in there. You should not have to dogtail them. You should not have to call them, day in, day night. There should be a consistent chain of responsibility that makes you feel comfortable. And certainly you shouldn't have to have all those questions. A lot of those questions should have been answered early on, particularly if you're a new home buyer. Mac, have you ever bought a house? You're a young guy. I mean, have you?
No, I'm renting still.
Okay. Well, you're at the perfect spot to learn the right way to do things and to not be that person. Were those all Ohio realtors? Was this all
uh
Ohio?
One of them was Ohio, two was in Philadelphia, one was in New York.
Okay. Okay.
Different states.
Yeah. I don't know what the rules are there, but I know that we have pretty similar standards everywhere. So that's interesting. Well, you'll learn a lot of this week is going to be, oh yeah, that makes sense. Or you'll be able to relate to it in your world from what you went through, to experience some of the stuff that you had to go through, unfortunately. But we're going to cover all that. So I'm glad you shared that with me. All right, let's see what else here. Move on to the next one. Maybe I get this thing to work. There we go. So we talked about fiduciary is a trust. Not going to beat that to death. I do want to show you something. This danger report. Can you guys see this? See the size of this thing? So what happened was, and the reason I share this as new agents, particularly new agents, and I've shared this in classes with agents that have been in the business for 30 years. Not everybody knows about this. And the reason I share it is because in 2012, the National Association of Realtors was concerned that we were losing in excess of 80 to 85% of our licensees within 3 to 5 years. Have you heard those statistics at Hondros? Had they shared those statistics with you recently? Do you
Yeah,
remember?
I heard it in Honduras. Yeah.
So I started thinking about that and was able to get a hold of this danger report years ago, and I've been sharing it in virtually every class I teach. And the reason I do it is because this was first commissioned in 2012, and then it was recommissioned again in 2016. And they found out that we were still losing 80 to 85% of our agents within 3 to 5 years. What the heck's going on? What's the deal?
Did they come to a conclusion on why? Or
Yes,
why
sir,
they
they did.
thought?
I'm going to be telling you too. They sure did. It's crazy. Oops, wrong one. Hold on, bear with me. They determined that there were, first of all, mostly were part-time. They weren't committed to at some point full-time. I'll stop right there because I've had students that get very upset with me because they, well, I'm part-time and that's what I got to be and so on. I don't have a problem with that. Part-time is fine for the first maybe year that you're learning, but you have to be able to commit to classes and commit to training. The learning part is really difficult. And by the way, real estate is a lifelong of learning, a lifetime of learning. You will never, ever know it all. You will never, ever stop learning. It's why it's called the practice of real estate, practice of medicine, practice dentistry, and so on. We never learn everything. Every client, every situation, every property, every situation presents a new set of learning opportunities. And so every time you have a chance to attend a class or attend a training, particularly with somebody who's highly successful, take the time to do it. That's one of the best things I can tell you now. But so part-time was one of them. If you want to do part-time, okay, you can do part-time. I understand you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your car payment, and you need something to live on. No argument there. But at some point, you'll have to choose between a full-time real estate career and a part-time real estate career. Most clients do not want to work with a part-time agent. They want you when they want you. Maybe this goes back to Nessif's issue when maybe he was working with a part-time agent, didn't have the time and didn't have the commitment that was needed to get him to where he needed to be. And so they were available when they were available. So anyway, part-time. Untrained was the next one. When you're untrained, you're untrained. If you're not committed to training, committed to learning, you're untrained. It's really that simple. And because you're untrained, you get frustrated. You don't know where to get leads from. You don't know what to expect in terms of running a business. All of these things are alien to you. And unless you have the ability to learn them, you're not going to succeed. So incompetence was the third one. And those were kind of the three things. And unethical. There are four things: unethical, incompetent, part-time, and untrained. Those are the four things that they found. And guess what? It's 2024. Do you think we're still losing 80 to 85% of our agents? What do you think?
I assume so.
You betcha. So nothing has changed. People come in, it's like a revolving door. You know, they put you on a treadmill, they get you through the training. Oh yeah, you're going into real estate. Oh no, we're just training you how to pass a test. Okay, congratulations, you passed your test. Now somebody over here has to do the training. But somebody there, meaning the two of you, have to be willing to sit through it and to learn it. I don't know of any industry, any business, any mom and pop, anything that's a business that doesn't have some learning curve to it, some need to learn how to do what you're doing. Now, maybe you could learn how to flip a pizza or make stew or, run a dress shop. I guess we could do all that, but all of it needs some kind of training. Well, real estate is no different, but it's on steroids because there's so much to learn, because so many people are different, so many needs are different, the properties are different, the things we're getting into are different, that the learning opportunities and training opportunities should be at the top of your list, should be top of mind. And you guys are both here tonight, and I'm grateful to you for that. There should have been 10 times more. But again, it's a commitment. So I show you this danger report because it is really something that I think needs to be shared. It's a very integral part of who we are. And again, I remind you, there are 10,000 practicing realtors thereabouts. It could be 9 and change, could be 10 again. We've lost a few, but the point I'm making is that a lot of those, kind of the 80-20 rule, you're gonna have 20% of the people that are really out there working and doing their thing and 80% that are just kind of sliding by. It's just gonna be kind of, that's the way it goes. So take an interest in what you're doing. Mac, are you gonna be full-time or part-time? What do you
Full time.
think now? Full-time? Did you cut the cord?
Yeah, I quit my job right before I got my license.
Are you going to be mentored on the team? What's the deal with you?
Do what?
Are you going to be, when you start your real estate, you're there every day. Are you going to have a mentor? Are you going to be a sole practitioner? What's your status? What are you
From
doing?
my understanding, you get a mentor for the first 5 transactions, right?
I think it's 6.
6. Okay.
Might be 5, but I believe it's 6. But anyway, 5 or 6. The bottom line is you have oversight.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you, my job is to get you to send you to your mentors ready to rock and roll, ready to start doing whatever it is you're going to be doing. And it's going to make you happier and it's going to make them happier. And the longer you can, or the shorter time to make money, the happier you're going to be. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I don't like failure. I mean, I don't think failure is an option. So to understand what happens and to understand why there's failure, I think can help us, get on the other side of it. So do you have any questions about this? Anything you've heard or know or see or want to know more about? Okay. Why do I have these ridiculous pictures here? Well, let's find out. All of these things are appropriate. Depends on where you are. A lot of times what happens is people get into real estate. I know you have to be 18 to get into it. You could come in at any age, but I think we have to learn that it's a profession, that it's a real profession, and that we have to dress appropriately for the occasion. Now, if you're going to go out and show 40 acres, you're obviously not going to, you guys aren't going to do it anyway, I'm pretty sure. Not going to wear the red pumps, but let's say you did. You wouldn't want to do that walking around 40 acres. The little hot pants with the, short shorts. I'm reminded of a story when I was teaching a few years ago. I was at the Columbus Realtors and I was teaching a big class. And there was a young lady, I think she was 18, 19, right out of high school. And she had joined her mom in real estate. Her mother had been in it for a long time. And she said that her first contact with a co-op agent was somebody who showed up in an outfit like that. Well, it might have been fine if they were on their way to the boat ramp or they were going to go, play tennis or whatever they were doing. But it was not appropriate to go into an office where other people are practicing their real estate, might have clients at a table or talking with clients. The bottom line is, without beating this to death, is appropriate dress at the time you have to come into an office is really what we're talking about. And anything else, if you're going to a ball game, you're going wherever, got to do what you got to do. But if you're dropping off a check and you're going into an office and you're going to have a meeting or see somebody, we want to make sure that everyone else is comfortable as we want them to be. So I do include this by request in my training, just to have a heads up on it. All right. Now, Nessip, I'm not telling you a doggone thing that you don't know already, but for my young friend Mac, congratulations. Did you know you're a business owner?
No.
Well, buddy, you are. And here's what you are. You own your real estate business. Have you heard these terms CEO, CFO, and COO? Do you know what that means?
I've heard of them. I'm not sure what they mean.
Top of the mat right here, Chief Executive Officer is a CEO. CFO is a Chief Financial Officer. And the Chief Operating Officer is the Chief Operating Officer, COO. This is what major corporations and major companies have. They at least have a president or a CEO or a CFO or whatever. These things are very, very critical to you. I've got a gentleman that's been in business, that understands business, and I've got a young gentleman who didn't know he was in business until this moment. So you can tell people that you own your own company. It is whatever you decide to call it. You are an independent contractor. That means that no one is going to pay your salary but you. That could be scary or that can be wonderful. It is going to be whatever you make it. You have the freedom to become and do whatever you envision, whatever you dream. And we're going to talk a little bit about that when we have goal setting tonight. So I want you to let people know that you are a business owner. Let your family know, let your friends know that you, and whenever you call your business, and I would suggest you keep your name in whatever it is, and is Gee right? Is it Gee or G?
Gee.
Gee. So I got that right then. Okay. So it could be Matt Gee Real Estate or Matt Gee Realtor or whatever it is. Nessip, have you given any thought to what you're going to call your business?
No, I haven't.
Well, you've got an interesting name. It's certainly not one that people can forget. So I'm a big proponent of keeping your name in your business so that people recognize you, that they know that name, that it's a recognizable name, and you're going to be building your brand going forward. But anyway, Ness, if you're an independent contractor now, I presume,
Yes, I am.
so you're familiar with the 1099
Yes.
for tax purposes. So I'll spend some time with Matt for a minute. When you get paid by the company that you are with, you got a paycheck every week, 2 weeks, month, whatever, correct?
Yeah, so are you gonna get into the 1099?
You're gonna get a 1099 because you're an independent contractor.
So I know what that is. I've gotten checks like that before. So I have an understanding of that is you have to do your own taxes basically at the end of the year.
Yeah, that means that you
Definitely.
have a business on your own.
Yeah.
That if you have a boss and you have a paycheck, it's probably on a W-2.
Yeah.
Okay. So the difference is, and I get so many young new agents that come in, and honest to Pete, what I'm going to tell you now is the first time they've ever heard anything like this. And they're in shock. One, that they're a business owner, and two, that they've got a 1099. And guess what else? You need the first year's survival money. You need to have some kind of a way to pay your bills, to live, to exist, at least for your first year while you're building your business. Okay? And that means, for lack of a better description, seed money. In other words, you have to have some money, whatever it is, to put into your business. The demands that will be made on you for fees and licensing and so on are going to be roughly $3,000 to $5,000 your first year. So that's kind of the investment or seed money that one can expect to put into a real estate business for the first year. And Ness, I'm not sure you even know this.
Does
But
that include
it
like
takes-
schooling?
No, go ahead. So go ahead.
Does that include schooling or is that on top of schooling?
That's on top of schooling.
Okay.
The MLS dues alone are $1,200, thereabouts, round numbers.
Okay.
So if you carve that out, and then you have to survive, there's going to be things that you're going to need to pay for during the year. It'll be gas, insurance, and wear and tear on your car and so on. I don't know if you have car payments and all that. So you're going to have to survive at least for your first year as you're trying to learn how to make the money to put back into an account. And by the way, I'll stop right here and suggest, if you don't already have, Nessip, I'm sure you have a business account, but you will want to separate your real estate business from that account and open a separate real estate account.
So what do I like when I go to when I open my business account, I incorporated it and I have the EIN number and all that, and and I took the documents to the bank and they were able to open up like a business account. So in this case, I won't have an EIN number, so unless
Okay.
I incorporate it.
You don't need to incorporate. Now, I am not an attorney and I'm not an accountant and I'm not going to give you advice either way. I'm going to suggest, because you're both coming from different positions here, is to decide what you want. Do you want an LLC? Do you want a subchapter S? Do you want a C corp? What's best for your circumstances? we've got a really young guy here. We've got a gentleman who's been in business for a while. So there's a dichotomy here that's completely different. And they'll probably be handled differently. But one thing I know for sure, you're going to want to have a separate business account. Now, unless your real estate is somehow tying into your current business as part of it, that may be. And then you may want to keep the same account. I don't know. Follow what I'm saying? So I don't know currently what you do if it relates to real estate or becomes a part of your real estate business. If it does, you'll have to look at that differently. I can't guide you on that, but what I can say is that your real estate business should have a standalone bank account separate from a personal account. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you.
Got
Whether
it.
you incorporate or not depends, and most single agents do not incorporate, but that's a call that has to be made by their family status, their income level, their accountants, and all those different things have to factor into it. I don't want to step into something that I am not comfortable giving advice on.
So do you suggest that because of tracking your expenses and money coming in, so everything is in one place?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's what's going to happen. Right now it's outgo. Okay. You both should have a certain amount of cash that you can put into an account to take care of the outgo. As I said, it's roughly $3,000 to $5,000 your first year. Could be less, I don't know. But at least you would be prepared for that. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay expenses. Then we start to realize our real estate and we start to bring money in. That money is going to be directly deposited to your account. Once you have your split, what you're paid, which is your gross income, that's going to go into your account, and then you're going to have to work your expenses and your business and all that other stuff out of it. So yes, it should absolutely be separated from any other accounts that you have. Does this make sense to both of you?
So if I'm not starting an LLC, would I just make a second checking account, or would I still be able to make a business account?
Just make a second account.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a business account, just a separate checking account. For right now, unless you know an accountant, or unless you know somebody who can explain your finances and help you with that, the safest thing for you to do, the best thing for you to do, to keep it separate so you actually can start to track what your income is and your outgo, in particular your outgo right now. Give yourself X number of dollars. Let's say it's $500. Let's say it's $1,000, whatever you can put into it right now. And as you start to write your checks, as you start to write your expenses for the things that you're going to have coming up, you can itemize those and you can track those, because when you start to do your accounting for your taxes, that will already be identified in a separate account. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. If you look at number 4, you will pay your salary, your taxes, your business expenses, and everything else. You are CEO, Chief Executive Officer. You can tell you how to work, how long to work, go to work, don't go to work, lead gen today, don't lead gen today, do what you got to do or don't do what you got to do. So you're accountable to yourself, and you can put any kind of, I don't know, officer behind it. But at the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about how you're running your business from whatever angle you're running it. But eventually you're going to have to pay your salary, and you will have to take out taxes, and you will have to pay your business expenses. And that has to be transparent as to the account that it's going into and out of. I strongly recommend that you have a business name. You do not have to put it into a business account right away, but your business, for your business cards, your identity, the brand that you're starting to build, you're going to have a letter. I'm going to show you in a little while, a letter that you should be sending out to your sphere, to your friends, your relatives, and everybody, to let them know what you're doing. You want to let people know. And so establishing a business name is something that's really very critical to your identity and to your branding. So you want to make sure you think about that. You have to think about it this moment, but think about it. And then to incorporate or not, that's your call. You may not have to incorporate Now, you may want to incorporate in 6 months or a year, once you start to see what's happening. Now, let's talk about tax obligations. There are, of course, federal and state, but there are also local taxes. And I didn't know about local taxes until I moved from North Carolina to Ohio. And I paid my state and I paid my federal. And then Franklin County came with a nice little nasty gram letter and said, you owe us $3,500, whatever it was, because I had done transactions all over the city and I owed taxes for those transactions. I did not know that. So I went down, I met with a really nice guy at Franklin County Tax Auditor's office. We had a nice chat. He told me all about it. And I've been bringing this into my training ever since, because it's important that we understand that it's more than just federal and state. So there are going to be probably local taxes, but you'll have to find that out as you do and close your transactions. Any questions? Okay. What about a savings or investment plan? Sure, if you can, I mean, if anybody can squeeze out a savings or investment plan today, go for it. I think it's great. But definitely that is something to think about. Now, are there any questions or confusion or anything about having an account, what that means? The sooner the better, what seed money looks like, what your role is as a business owner? We all clear on that? Are you feeling happy or sad, Mac, that you're a business owner?
Happy.
Get that nameplate on your desk, CEO. All right, let me go to the next one. So we're going to talk about a business plan. Oops, didn't want to do that. Give me a sec. So either you have a business plan or you don't. Nessa, have you done a business plan for your business?
Yes, I had to.
Of course you do. You understood what value that is.
True.
Can you describe your experience about your business plan, what it kind of meant for you?
It kind of creates a roadmap and kind of like a dashboard, and you see where you are and you achieve your goal or you don't, and what's working, what's not. You try different things, different strategies, how to gain customers, and not everything works for everybody. So you kind of go back to the drawing board and modify your strategy to in order to get more business.
What a spot on description. Wow. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I'll tag onto that for a minute. When I was with a realty company, big brand years ago, every December they would come at us and they would want us to produce a business plan for the following year that looked much like that danger report I just showed you. And I would panic. It was just like so voluminous. It's like, give me a break. I mean, my God. So I designed a lot of years ago a very simple first step business plan for newbies, for those of us that were newer, that didn't have a yesterday, that didn't have a track record, didn't have a look back. And so we could start out fresh and say, okay, this is my business. This is what I see. This is what I want to do, and so on. All those things you talked about, but in a very simplistic form to start with. And then as you grow and as your business grows, your business plan grows. You add to it, you tweak it, you refresh it, you do all those wonderful things. But let's look at some of these things over here on the side that really should be part of it. Now, if you don't know what command is, in the Keller Williams world, everything you're going to be doing for your transactions and with your transactions is going to be generated in and out of command. It is, it's a very robust, very vibrant system that can not only house your contacts, but from your contact database, which is, I'll talk to you about numbers in a minute, but everything is going to springboard from that. So right now, as soon as you can, today, tomorrow, whenever, start inputting, if you haven't learned about command, as soon as you learn about it, which is a CRM, which is your contact management system, you're going to start inputting your database, and you're going to grow your database as robust as you possibly can. If you were to add, when you can add 200 minimum viable contacts. In other words, names, phone numbers, people that would know you if they got a note or a call or something. You would be looking at a potential income of $100,000 a year. That's what 200 contacts could do for you. So if you look at your cell phone, if you look at your current database, if you look at whatever you're utilizing now for your contacts, and I don't care if it's an Excel spreadsheet, whatever it is, you start bringing those into command when you learn how to work command, and start thinking of the importance and dedication that you will have or should have to growing your database. Any questions on this? Can you think now about how many people you might have in your cell phone? Is it?
I already uploaded my contact to command and started kind of deleting the ones that I know they're out of town or I know they're not going to be valuable to me.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just going through that exercise was
Well, but you understand what I'm saying,
yeah.
because I will tell you from this moment forward, your database is going to be, here's what I'll tell you. This is how I'll say it. You feed your database and your database will feed you. How's that? Real simple to get through your head. The more you feed, the fatter it gets. The more you fatten it up, the fatter you'll get with your business. The more it will bring you business. There is no more viable pathway than to grow your database. Obviously your referrals and so on, of course. But what you're going to be doing, both of you, in the world of real estate is really very simple. There are 3 pathways to think about, and I would encourage you to write these down. The first one is engagement. The business that we're in is a relationship business. And it's all about building relationships. And how do we do that? We do that by first engaging. That means getting in somebody's airspace, getting in front of someone, getting engagement so that you have that engagement. And when you have engagement and you can sit down across the table or you can start working with someone, now you're building that relationship. And the final step is the relationship does not end at the closing table. It begins there because now you have the nurturing part. So you have engagement, relationship, and nurturing. And nurturing is for life. Because I tell you, and you talk to any of your successful agents that you're going to either know or meet in that Greater Columbus office, and anybody who's there who's the top of their echelon, they're working their referrals over and over and over and over again. They're top of mind all the time. They're staying top of mind, and command is a great way to have you there. It has so much functionality that you can utilize to make it kind of hands-free, but it has to pivot off of your database. So the more you fatten your database, the more you can put into your database, the more you can manipulate it to do what you need it to do to stay top of mind and be in front of everybody. That's why we encourage you to put in as much as you can into that database as quickly as possible, because that's going to be your pathway to a quick turnaround in terms of reaching potential buyers and sellers and investors. Any questions? I cannot stress it enough. We talk about ahas and takeaways tomorrow. I'm hoping some of this is going to pop back up in my face, because I assure you that everything we're going to talk about tonight is going to be really critical to everything else that we're going to be doing later in this week. This is setting the foundation. I have a saying that I use with the students. I say, I'm going to set the table. I'm going to set the table, and the rest are going to fill you up, feed you. Because if you listen to how to set the table and you listen to how to get this prepped and ready, then you cannot starve. You will not starve. Lead gen tomorrow. So there's a lot coming at you, but I want to make sure that we're prepped for it, that we've set the table correctly. And that's what we're doing right now. So having a business plan, thank you for your input, Nessif. I really appreciate that. You have to have a plan. Who's your market? What are you going to do? Next slide, I'm going to have a 7-step that you can have, and I think you can print it out. You have it probably excuse me, in the things that Rachel sent you. You really should have, not only in your business plan, but I want you to think for a minute about your goal setting. Because Nessa mentioned that that's kind of your guidance system. Well, here's a new way to think about your GPS. So write this down. Your new GPS are going to be your goals, your priorities, and your strategies. Goals, priorities, and strategies. That's your new GPS. That should carry you all the way. If you have goals, you should be concentrating on reaching your goals or tweaking them and manipulating them so that they work for you. How are your priorities? How are you going to get there? And then what is your strategy? You know, what do you need to gain? What do you need to give up? What do you need to move around? What does that all look like? Well, I hope I make it 3 hours here, guys. It's good. Push and shove here. All right. So you should be reevaluating your goals every 3 months. So you should have 3-month goals, 6-month goals, and what is this going to look like in a year for you? I'd like you to take a minute. I'm going to take a sip of water here and give you a minute to have quiet time. And I want you to write down your 3-month, your 6-month, and your annual goals. What does a year out from here look like to you? What should it look like for you? It can be anything. It can be money, travel, growth, can be anything you want it to be. But I think you need to look at a 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month goals. And I'll give you a break for a minute.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick.
Okay, so these are personal. I'm not going to ask you to relay them. These are personal goals. But I think you need to look at them and think about them. And in 3 months from now, we're in the first quarter, early in the year. You've got a whole year to really make these things work for you. And I think if you can look at 3 months down the road, and don't beat yourself up if you're not there. What do you have to change or what do you have to make different? To tweak it a little bit, massage it a little bit, and make it work for you. All right. And if it's unrealistic, then maybe you ask for too much in too short a time. But those are your personal goals. Those are the things that are going to work for you and not for anybody else. In your work, do you have a sheet that looks like this?
Yep.
Can you print it out?
Yes, but
If you can't print it out, I'm gonna go get something for my throat.
do you
This is
know how to
okay.
print an individual page? Like it has all 65?
No, you just print, if you pull it up and it'll say print current page. You should have a print option that says print current page.
Or if you know the page number, you can just type the page
Okay.
number.
Type the page number in.
All right, yeah, I got it now.
Nessa, can you print this out?
No, but I'm gonna pick up the pamphlet tomorrow from the
Okay,
office.
no worries. All right, here's what I want you to do. You can bring this up on your screen. And I want you to look at it. There are going to be I want you to find 3 things on here that pop out at you, that just speak to you. It's gonna happen. And make a note of what they are. And then we're gonna talk about it, because we're talking about goal setting and so on. And I want you to just, and then I'll tell you about bold and I'll tell you what this is and all that good stuff. But find 3 that you relate to, and then I want you to find the one that speaks to you the loudest. And I'll be back in just a few minutes, okay?
Mac, do you know the page number on that?
For me, it's number 5.
Oh,
I had to rotate mine. Are you on the computer?
yeah. I
So at the
downloaded
top,
actually, and you can rotate it on PDF.
okay.
Yeah.
I hear you guys talking to each other.
Yeah.
If this helps my throat. Let me know when you're done. Did something jump off the page and go, oh my God, are they talking to me? So I'll explain to you both what bold is. When you're in the office, you're gonna see a lot of signs in different areas, like back where the training room is, you'll see a little area that's got purple and stuff and it says bold. You'll see bold scroll. Did anybody explain bold to you? Did Pam explain? You're muted, that's it.
Yeah, I heard about Bold. Yeah.
Did you hear, did they tell you everything about it, that what it was?
I think you get a partner in the in the course, and you guys, like, the partners keep each other in check. So that's kind of like a probably
No.
to a more deeper, exercise that what we're doing today.
Well, yes, it's an off-campus program. It's a Keller Williams product. The instructors are highly trained. They have to go through a whole training process in order to be able to handle this program. It is, I want to say it's a 6-week program, 1 day a week, and they do it once or twice a year. It's about a $700 cost, and they bring in Keller Williams offices from everywhere. But it's an accelerated learning program. It's a collection of a lot of things: self-confidence, lead generation, awareness. There's all kinds of things part of it. But one of the things that I loved, I went through it a couple years ago, and what I loved about it was the first thing that I saw was this, the bold laws. And I like to use it because I think it really speaks to what we're all about. And I think it's really important as we're starting to think about building a business and what it means to us. What are we going to commit to growing this business? How are we going to run our business? What kind of realtor am I going to be? By the way, there's no I in realtor. Do not want to hear realtor. Realtor. Okay. So what kind of realtors, agents, licensees will we be? And what are we going to put into our business? These bold laws are really reminders of who we are. And I asked to pick 3 because I believe three are relevant, but I believe one speaks the loudest. Do you want to share the one that spoke the loudest to you, Mac?
Success is simple, not easy. Um, the reason I picked that one is just because I think the more you put into something, the likelihood of you not getting what you want is pretty low. Like if let's say I talk to 10,000 people in a year, I find it hard to believe that I wouldn't sell one. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just think if I trying to think of the word to use here, but
Engagement, engagement.
I just mean the number of opportunities increases the likelihood of achievement.
And you make that happen, and we will talk about that tomorrow night. That's on you. And it's so stinking easy. I can't even wait till tomorrow night. I'm so excited about it. That's one of my favorite nights when I talk about lead generation because it's made out to be such a boogeyman, and it's such an easy thing to do if you stick with it. But it's on you. That's what you've already gotten that. So good for you that you picked that out. Nessa, what did you pick?
I picked don't listen to your limiting mindset
Yeah. So
because
here's what here's what I'm
yeah,
going to challenge you to do.
yeah, because sometimes I think that like, oh, so and so is not gonna be interested in, and in the real example, last week, Wednesday, I volunteered for an organization, Stonewall Columbus, for the LGBT community. And one of the admins were like, they were asking me, like, how have you been? What have you been doing? I'm like, oh, I was so reluctant to say that I got my real estate license, but I'm like, I pushed myself to say, so I did. And she said, oh, I need a realtor. I'm like, that's it.
And do you have that now relationship building?
Yes, absolutely. So I texted her, I sent my contact information, trying to set up a meeting with her so I can help her finding a house. So I at the beginning I limited my mind, to be honest, like, but then, you know,
So here's what we do. We don't get out of our own way. You know, don't hide yourself from others. Max got her, he's just gonna get out there. Just get out
yeah,
there. Because guess what? You know, under all the no's are buried some yeses. And it's not that person maybe that you're talking to, but it's somebody maybe they know or they're connected to. So don't
absolutely.
think that every, you know, person that you meet is a pathway to a buy or a sell. It isn't. Never is.
Yeah,
It's just a pathway to get through the, you know, he's talking to 100,000, 10,000, whatever. There's going to be some in there. It
exactly.
just, those numbers work in his favor. So it's really good stuff. I'm delighted that you thought, but look, take those bold laws, each of you, and type it up, write it up, put it somewhere, write it down, and look at it every day for a while. So Ness, if you especially, do not let that go away. That is I want that to be your positive affirmation. That spoke to you the loudest. So it has some relation to what's going on with you. So let it work for you. Let it work on your behalf. So post it up, you guys, by your computers, and so you can look at it every day and go with it. All right, good stuff. So we are talking about reachable goals. We're talking about a plan. I already gave you the GPS, your goals, priorities, and strategies. And then you're going to reevaluate every 3 months to get to the end of year one. And by the way, when you get to the end of this year, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have the ability to look back over this year, make adjustments as you do your business plan for next year. And it's going to be very helpful. You don't have that ability right now. So this is all ground laying. Next year or at the end of the year, you'll have a lot more information that you can utilize to build your business plans. The next item, commit to the first 3 to 4 hours. I will say it till I'm blue in the face for the next 5 days. You guys are going to be sick of me. But there is nothing more important than your database and lead generation. Those two things together, I take that back, three things. Lead generation, your database, and education. Getting into classes, attending things, making sure that you're present, Get on the Zoom if you have to be Zoom, but be there, learn as much as you can from the talent that is in that building. There are no better trainers, no better teachers than what you're surrounded with every day in that building, and they will help you. And they want to help you, but you got to show up and you got to be present. And that's all I can tell you for right now. The rest is on you. Examine your strongest traits and examine your weakest traits. We talked about one right now, getting in your way. Okay, you understand that. So you can deal with it. Once you can understand what your strength is, go with it. If your weakness is holding you back, what are you going to do about it? What are we going to do with it? How are we going to get rid of it? How are we going to mitigate it so that our strongest traits take over and allow us to do what we need to do to make money? Again, I repeat that there's nobody going to put a check in our bank account except us, period. So again, training opportunities, structured and unstructured. And then if you can do, Nessa, if you've already done it, start adding, if you can, 5 new contacts a day. And Mac, I don't think you've been introduced to that yet. Is that correct? Okay. All right. So when you can, start thinking about how you're going to build up your database. Now, any questions about this right here? Because now I'm going to get into the business plan. We want to go over anything? We clear? Everybody good?
Yep.
Okie dokie. All right, here is what you have. There are 7 steps, really simple steps. And Nessip, I would love your opinion on this. This is really the essence of probably what you already have, but in a much more diluted, easy format. This is really plug and play. It's allowing you to kind of fill in the blanks here for starters, so you at least have some kind of a business plan. Now, there are more sophisticated. In fact, in Command, I believe there is a phenomenal business plan that you can get a hold of. But for now, if you can do the basics and you can at least start with something, you can start to lay out a plan that is visual that you can actually see. So the executive summary, of course, is a highlight of the most important information in your document. Where are you located? How large is your company? Well, look, you're located in Ohio. You're located in Columbus. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're going to be somewhere else. You're self-proprietor, owner, proprietor right now. One person, one man show, if that's what you're doing. Are you going to want to have a team down the road? Do you want to be on a team? What kind of, ownership do you want to have? And how large is your company? Right now, it's a 1-person company. What is your vision? Obviously, you have a vision of what you gave me part of it, why you got into real estate. What's important to you? What do you do? And what do you hope to accomplish? If you're a residential realtor and you hope to do 20 transactions a year or more, whatever you decide to do, 10 transactions, that's on your goal sheet. Whatever you plan to do, that's on you. What do you hope to accomplish? But you've got to have an action plan. So what are you selling? You're selling with emphasis on the value you intend. It's your value. Write this down if you don't mind. Your action plan is really your value added proposition. All right. You are different than 9,000 others because of who you are, because of your commitment. Your difference, Nessip, is because you want to take all 3 or 4 of those people and take all of those qualities that you did not like and add those to the things about you that they will like. And so you're going to turn that into a positive for you. But your value added proposition is what you are selling. What can you bring to your clients? What are you giving to your clients? What makes you different? If you've got 10,000 licensees fishing in the same pond, what makes you different? How are you going to be different? What is it that you're going to bring to them that's different? Market analysis. You've got to know what's going on in the marketplace. So you need a detailed overview of the industry that you intend to sell your product in. Columbus market. What's going on in the market? You've got to know it. So add that into your market analysis, because you're going to have to share your knowledge with potential buyers and sellers. They're going to want to test you. What do you know? What do you know about this market? What am I in for if I'm a buyer or seller? And you'll learn all that. This is not skills you have at this moment, but you will learn these. but I want it to be relevant in your business plan. Your strategy, where does your business, your individual business, fit into the market, and how will you price, promote, and sell your product or service? That's a personal decision you'll have to talk to your mentors and your trainers about. How are you going to grow your business, and what is that going to look like? How are you structured? And how's the business going to be managed? Anyway, you see there's 7 points here. Just go over each point and see how you can relate to it, how you can fill it in, kind of a plug and play, a cut and paste, and plug yourself in on these different points, and see how that works for you. Jessica, what do you think about this plan? Honestly, I
It
mean,
is, no, it is, I mean, it's sounds or like seems daunting at the beginning, but once you start doing the writing things down, it comes naturally. Like, oh, I need to add this too. I need to add that too. So, definitely, I first when I wrote my business plan years back, I was just like, oh, this is too much. But one at a time, and you might not know everything right away. Things change, and once you learn things, just go back and add those things to your plan.
it is a
So,
living document and a
yep,
work in
it is.
progress, period.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what it is. So you just make it work. You make it work for you. There are two people that are starting a business, two very different people. It's not going to look anything the same. There's not going to be any similarities at all, because you both have a different life. You have different ways. You have different friends. You have different contacts. You have different everything. It has to be a personal reflection of where you want to be, where you want to grow, how you want to get there. It's meant to be very simple and very straightforward, and just fill in the spaces while you can. I'd like you to have some idea tomorrow that some of this is making sense, and maybe you filled in some of it already. You may not even know what you want to call your business yet. I don't know. What's that going to be? Figure it out. So it's not, I don't do homework. I do real life business training, so that what I give you to do, you have to do anyway. But give some real thought to constructing your business plan. Because without your business plan, without a GPS, you're not going anywhere. Right? Okay, glad you agree. Okay, any questions about a business plan? How to structure it? Mac, is this making sense to you?
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Is it okay if I screenshot that?
I don't, no, this is for you. Absolutely.
Okay.
Is
One
any of
sec.
my stuff in the way? I see stuff that's covered. Is yours clear?
No, mine looks fine.
Good. You may screenshot anything you want, of course. Do I need to go back to anything?
Nope. I just
Okay.
wanted to get that one down so I could look back on it.
Yeah, actually, that is something you can print out of your stuff that Rachel sent you.
Oh, okay.
It's in there.
Well,
It's
this
in
one's
there.
in color.
What's that?
I said this one's in color, so.
All right. All righty. Let's see. So here's your goal setting. The goals must be your own. Obviously, they've got to be their own. You're not going to do goals for somebody else. They should be clear, concrete, and write them down. Think of ideas as they come to you. Just, oh man, I would like my business to do that. Oh, what a great idea. I'd like to put that into my business. Oh, that would work for me. Think of those kinds of things and personalize it. Make it work for you. Okay. Post them, put post-it notes, sticky notes, whatever, shared and visible. If you have a partner, if you have a spouse, if you have a child, if you have a cousin, if you have anybody that you share your space with, see how they feel about it. Run stuff by them. Maybe you have to find an accountability partner. You will have that at Greater Columbus, because you'll have a mentor and you'll have somebody to work with who'll be helping you with your first 6 transactions anyway. So run it by them. Just say, here's my vision. Here's what I'm working on, my business plan. Can I run it by you? What do you think? Doesn't hurt to ask, okay? There should be beginning and ending dates. 3 months, 6 months, a year. Those are good ending dates. Moral and ethical consequences. we don't even need to have that conversation. Anybody that I teach that doesn't have the moral and ethical responsibilities and fiduciary considerations does not belong in this business, pure and simple, and will not last anyway. So, doesn't matter. I teach a lot of people and they don't all make it for whatever reason, but I believe with all my heart that if you listen to what I'm helping you with, and if you understand that this is for you to do, for me to share with you out of 22 years of experience and a passion for teaching, that I can share these things with you. And if you can do them, you will not struggle long. You will be successful. You will be happy, and you will not be part of that 80%. And by the way, that 80% is why I got into this teaching thing 7-8 years ago. It bothered me so much. I thought, why are all these people leaving? What does that mean? And I realized it's because the training was lacking. So I wanted to be able to make a difference. And here we are today. So accountability, we have to be accountable to each other. Remember what I said, who are you when nobody else is looking? When you look in that mirror and you say to yourself, am I accountable to me? Have I been accountable to the goals that I set? Have I been accountable to my ethics and my integrity? Am I that person? And if the answer is, oh yeah, shaking your head, yeah, right on, spot on, keep going, because you're halfway there. But accountability, there's nobody standing over your shoulder with a whip and saying, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to show up for this class, you got to do this training, you got to make your calls, you got to do your lead gen. It's that little voice in here, your CEO, that's standing over your shoulder saying, get on with it, buddy, let's go. That's who you're listening to. So accountability has to be from inside here. It's not going to come from anywhere else. Okay, we've already talked about these. Businesses fail because they fail to plan. We've already talked about your goals, having those goals, intermediary goals, and that's what you're doing now. Describe to yourself what you're willing to do to make it happen. And also, who else is counting on you? Is anybody else counting on you? My mouse is stuck. I don't know what's going on here. Who's counting on you to hit these goals? Is it just you? Is it somebody else? I don't know, but you have to figure out who else is counting on you to get your goals going. All right. If it is you, oops, didn't want to go there. Sorry. Maybe have an accountability partner. That's what we talked about earlier, that you might have your mentor, somebody that you live with or whatever, that can help you, get to your goals. And what do you have to do to make it happen? Do you have to give something up? Do you have to stretch? What do you have to do to get you where you need to be or where you want to be? And Keller Williams is big on mindset. They don't believe in I'm going to try. It's you're going to do something. You will do something. It's very big on positive mindset. We want to get rid of kind of the weak sisters behind us. They're big on models and systems, and they're going to teach them all to you. I'm not going to do that, but you're going to learn a lot of pretty fantastic things. Gary Keller is a billionaire with a B, and he's a billionaire for a lot of reasons, but he's very committed. And there's a story I share. I'm sure it's true. I've been sharing it for a long time. Is that one year he was having a birthday and somebody decided to bring him a birthday cake, and the secretary would not allow them to interrupt him because this was his time that he was fully committed to. And so the birthday cake did not reach him until later. And his comment was, had it reached him, he would have fired his secretary on the spot because he is fully committed. And what we're going to talk about tomorrow in lead generation is that you have to have that mindset. You have to have that accountability piece to yourself to say, on these days and these times during this, whatever it is, nobody gets through. Unless it's an emergency, nothing reaches me, nothing gets through. Now, I realize you're going to be realtors, you're going to have to take phone calls, you're going to have to meet with clients. All of that is a given. But I'm talking about regimentation to the extent that you have to have a set pattern so that you can keep an appointment with yourself. If you're getting your hair cut or you're going to a doctor's appointment or a dentist appointment, you show up, somebody's counting on you. Well, you have to show up for yourself and you have to make an appointment with yourself and you have to show up and you have to be present. And so these are things we will talk about more in depth tomorrow. But Keller Williams' mindset and all the books and the tools that are out there for you, their whole concept is to make you millionaires. Their goal is that you become millionaires. And for somebody like you, Mac, good grief. 20 years from now, I don't know where you could be. I don't know any other business that can give you the pathway that you're on right now. And Nessa, you're not very old either. So
Oh, no, I am.
what's that?
No, I am.
Well, I believe you've got a good 20 years to boogie. So the bottom line is that if you can plan now to set your goals for 10, 20 years, and you'll find all of the Keller Williams strategies and methods and all the things that they're going to give you, which is a huge gift, that you will be prepared and ready to go out and make those millions, to become part of that flock, part of that limited amount of people that got there. And if you don't want to do that and you want to just be successful and do what you want to do within your scope and your plans, then that's what you should do for yourself. Not everybody aspires to do that. But if you do, you certainly can get there through the Keller Williams methods and so on. All right. So take advantage of everything that's put in front of you and use it to your advantage. And I'm quite sure that you'll have the goals in place that you have set forth for yourself. So self-discipline is the number one factor that you have to have. You have to have the heart-to-heart talk with yourself. You have to be the one that sets the pace. You have to control your time and so on. We're going to talk about time management in just a little while. But your business planning, that sets the pace. Setting your goals, your strategies, your priorities, that's setting the pace. It's part of the table setting that we're doing tonight so that you can start to build on these other things that we're going to be teaching you over the next few days. And then finally, when you roll into next week, you'll be well prepared to really get your business rocking and rolling. And I can assure you that there are others that are right where you are elsewhere that aren't going to be anywhere close to you, won't even be there for a year, 2 years possibly. I've trained students that have come to me with 2 years under their belt that have learned more than in a week than they've learned in 2 years. So what we're putting in place for you is something that you can run with. All right. Got to have a plan. We know that. Now, this 411 productivity tool, you can print that out too. This stands for 411, stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, and a year. They use that as a productivity tool to talk about your big priorities. The tools allows you to define your weekly, monthly, and annual goals because your activities roll into your daily activities actually define your month and your year. If you're letting down your daily activities, then your month isn't going to be what's expected, nor are your 3 month, 6 month, and year goals. And certainly that's not going to happen for you. So this is just a tool that you should pay attention to. You'll learn more about it when you get into some conversation with your folks at Keller. But just pay attention to that this is a big helpful tool for you. And again, you don't have to screenshot. You can if you want, but it's in your printouts. You should have it there. Now, writing your business plan. Here's what I call business building assignments. Because we're going to move on to time management, I want to make sure that I hit all the key elements with you for your business planning. So these are things that you should, if you can do it tonight or tomorrow, if you can start working on these things, definitely start using this. And Nessa, you use whatever business plan you want that works for you. I'm not trying to control what you do, but most people that come into these classes, they don't have a clue where to start. This is a starting point of reference. If you have a better method that works for you, please use it. Do not use this. Okay?
Okay. Yep.
But Mac, for you, this should be a pretty easy task for you just to roll out and get you thinking about what your business is going to look like and what you want to do with it and so on. So I think that's probably not going to be a stretch for you. So set your goals. I think you've already given some thought to your 3 month, 6 month, and annual goals. And then decide what you're gonna do when you reach each goal. Are you gonna push them out further? Are you going to enjoy the spoils, that you've reached? Congratulate yourself and then set new goals for the next 3 months, however you wanna do it. That's entirely up to you. There's no set way of doing it. They're your goals, your priorities, your strategies, how you're going to get there and when you're going to get there. That's completely up to you. But if you have a little roadmap, which you now have, then you can start to strategize how your business is going to look and so on. And choosing the bold law, you just did that. If you make that your affirmation piece, that certainly can become a habit for you, and it will help you get through all the rest of this stuff. Let me see if I've got all my notes on, I think so. Let's see, have you given any thought to your name? Mac, have you thought about it?
Not too much.
Okay,
Um, I think I'm gonna check my email. I think I said they have me set up a website.
you will have a website, you will have an email. It will
Yeah, I
probably
think.
be Mac, it'll probably be mgee at KW, Greater Columbus, something like
Yeah.
that.
Trying to see what I set the website to. I know what the email is.
Well, your website, here's the thing, you're going to get into branding your business. Your business is individual. Your 1099 is for your business. All right. Keller Williams
Mhm.
is the pathway. It's the vehicle to get you to where you want to be. But you're the driver. And
Yeah.
so you have to get in the vehicle and decide which direction you're going. I mean, I guess that's the best I can paint a picture of. They'll give you every tool. They'll give you the Rolls Royce. You got to get in and drive it. You're not driving a beat up old dinged up car here. So the pathway that you take is going to get you there with everything that's necessary, but you have to want to do it. And that's choosing all of these different things. Give some thought to what I want people to see me as. When people want to see Matt Gee, Realtor, what am I putting in front of them? What are they seeing? And I think you've got a great name. So I don't know, play with it a little bit and see what you think. I think you could play with that name a little bit and be clever. Or you can just be straight up. So just give it some thought, play around with some ideas. You don't have to do it tomorrow. Have you guys gotten your business cards? Do you have those yet?
No, I haven't gotten any. I'm supposed to go to the office Wednesday for the onboarding meeting.
Good, okay.
So I wasn't sure if I would get those then or
No, you have to order your business card separately. I
okay.
just got mine in today, actually.
Well, you have to have your picture taken and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I presume you want your picture on your business card.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get a haircut.
Is that a beard?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shave that too.
Eh, hey, it's up to you, my friend. It's what you want to present to the outside world. So you don't have to wear a suit every day. You don't have to wear a tie every day. That's ridiculous. We're cash, but we're refined and we're professional. So that's what we want to present, is that we know what we're doing, because we look ridiculous. Nobody's going to take us for real. But I want to tell you something. You're a young guy and you have a whole world out there of young people that you can relate to, that will want to buy and will want to talk to somebody their age and will want to relate. And I think that's a big advantage to you. And when you know what you're doing and you know your stuff, you're going to be on fire. I mean, there's just endless possibilities. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm hoping the people I know will start wanting to buy houses soon.
Let me tell you something. One of the saddest days in your life will be when you see somebody else's real estate sign in your grandma's yard or your parents or your neighbor, and it doesn't feel good. And I've been there. Doesn't feel good, and you wonder, what the heck did I do wrong? Why isn't my sign in that yard? And it's because we didn't pay attention. We didn't do what you just said earlier. Talk to people, let them know what you do. I'm available. This is what I do. Now, you can't be obnoxious about it. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of ways to generate leads and get your name out there without being a pain in the neck and having people go, next. So we'll talk about that, but get your identity out there so that you can, you have an incredible brand. And let me tell you a minute about Keller's brand. I don't know if you know these statistics or not, but the Keller Williams brand is the largest, most recognized real estate brand in the world. Start with that. You should be very proud of that. Number two, statistically, a Keller Williams agent is on one side or the other, the buy side or the sell side, around 25% of the time. That's huge. And by the way, you have worldwide connections. Tomorrow we'll talk about referrals. So even if you live in Ohio and you have friends and relatives somewhere else, there's going to be a Keller Williams office nearby that you can refer to and back and forth. So referrals is a huge business, and we will talk about that. So these are the things that I want you to find excitement and hope in, because you've hitched your wagon to a star that's going to get you where you want to go. But you got to be part of the program. You got to, be present and learn what you can learn as quickly as you can, because it will equip you to be where you want to be and get where you want to go. Okay. All good stuff. All right. So these are business building assignments that you can do. You should be starting work on those right away. I wanted to find, let me see if I can find this new share, if I can go up here. What's up with my, there we go. I want to get this letter. I don't think you have, let's see here if I can do it. Thought I had a letter. See if I can find it. Well, see if you have a letter that you can send, a sample letter. I'll tell you what, do me a favor, and both of you give me your email address that you have right now.
MacGee, MACKGEE @KW.com.
Look at you. Okay. MacGee@KW.com.
Yep.
Okay. And Nessif, I see, it's NDALMIS.
No. Use the Nesip Dalmas at kw.com.
All right. Nessif, DAL
MIS.
at KW.
Yep.
You got it. When I'm done, I'll send you a sample letter. You should be considering best to get your contact database filled up when you can, but it's also important to make sure that you are ready when you're ready. Don't let it go too long to let people know what you do, right, Nessif?
Exactly.
Yeah, you got to let them know, like, you would have missed that opportunity in a heartbeat, and you would have felt so bad about that, but good on you that you got it. I hope that all works out for you.
I hope so.
All right, so, all right, we're going to move on now. We did the business planning, and we're going to now talk about time management. So let's go to that piece. Get to the next thing here. Give me a moment. All right, so here's what I know, that time is something that we really take advantage of. We know there's 24 hours in a day. Yeah. Okay. Who's counting? And we just kind of breeze through it. We have some appointments. We have some ideas to how our day is going to go. But unless we plan it, unless we figure out how to utilize it, we have wasted so much of our time on things that we don't need to waste. When I do the evaluation at the end of the class on Friday, you'll be given an evaluation form about how did this class do for you? What did you learn? And so on. Almost always, I'm not planning ideas, but I have seen enough of this where the time management piece nobody talked about. And so it became a really important part of the overall understanding as to how we're going to own and operate and run our businesses. get into that. You cannot underestimate the value of your own personal time. What happened was when COVID hit a few years ago, we had shared spaces. We were thrown into something that was completely alien to us. Even though most realtors work from home, most of them do. Not all of them have nice offices, and eventually maybe one day you will. But for the most part, most of us work from home from an office that's designated, or at least a space. And so when COVID hit, we were thrown into a community of others that were not used to being around. They weren't used to being around us, and we weren't used to being around them. And so we didn't have our time, and time sharing got all confused. The dog didn't know why we were home. The kids wondered when they were going to get their peanut butter sandwich, had to stop and put socks in the dryer. We were going nuts because we could not rein in our time. If we have an office, if we know that we're paying rent and we go there and we can lock a door, close a door, turn on the lights and write a check every month, we know what we have to do with that space. We have to make that space work for us. But if we're working from home, we get distracted. If the washer stops, we feel we got to put the socks in the dryer. We don't. If the dog has to go out right now, he doesn't. Because if we managed it properly, the dog wouldn't be asking to go out. So there are ways to manage your time differently as a realtor and working from home. Let's assume that you're going to be working from home. There are drop-in spaces at Greater Columbus. You're certainly welcome to go use those. But primarily, you're going to be developing your lead gen and doing your work mostly from home. So let's use that as the premise for what we're doing right now. Time is a very precious resource. It's a different kind of resource. You can't buy it, sell it, rent it, borrow it. Look at all these things. Steal it, save it, multiply it, manufacture it, and so it goes. All we can do is spend the time, and we do that. We just spend it like we've got beaucoup time in the world. We're all equal when it comes to time because all we have is one 24-hour period in order to manipulate and utilize that time and space to grow our business. And we're back to growing our business now. What do we have to give up? What do we have to do to make sure that we take every day, if possible, to commit to growing our business? And on what days and what times are we most available so that we can calculate in our business plan, especially, to commit to growing our business? We have to work on our business and in our business. It's not going to grow by itself. So let's talk about that a little bit. Here are some of the tips. You should have a daily plan. You should have a plan to grow your business 3 to 4 hours of every day. Now, this may not be realistic. By the way, stop me if you want to say something or ask a question. I don't mind you jumping in there. But think about it this way. You have to work your business every single day. Every day has to have some part of your mindset to be growing your business, to be working on growing your business. So let's say that you don't know, you don't have any idea right at the moment. Well, what am I going to do? My day's just going away from me. Well, let's say that you take one day a week, whatever that day is, and you take 1 hour on that day. So just for hypothetical, let's say you can take a Tuesday and you can take from 10 to 11 on Tuesdays to claim it. Nobody gets in, nothing gets done except your business on that 1 hour from 10 to 11 on a Tuesday. Period. You own it. So now you've got at least something to start with. And I encourage you to find that day and that time and then grow it from there. 2 hours, 3 hours, and then other days, and then stick with it. So you make an appointment with yourself. So if you get up in the morning and you have a routine, if you work out, if you do devotions, if you take a walk, if you walk the dog, whatever your day looks like, how are you going to incorporate your business lead generation and business growth plan into your day? You probably didn't think about that part of it until maybe now. But your planning and your time consumption is going to be very critical to the growth of your business. Because unless you have an orderly way, so for example, if you paid for a rental space and you wrote a check every month, you'd, by gosh, go and open that door and you turn on the lights and you turn on your computer and you'd sit there and you would do your business. and you would stay there as long as it takes to do your business until you shut down the lights, lock the door, and went home. Whatever that looks like in your world for your business. Well, the same theory applies if you're working from home. You also have to have, if you have a shared space, you have to have an identified space. Where am I going to work if I work from home? And who's here? And what do they expect of me? And how can I let them know that on these days and these times, I own this space. This is how I'm going to work. They may have to own it on their time and their days if they're in a job where they work from home. Pets, family, kids, whatever, you're going to have to work around them. Spouses, partners, doesn't matter. You have to incorporate all that into it. But it starts with 1 hour on one day. And if you can incorporate that into your business plan, into your growth, then you'll have something real. And then you have to expand on it. Let's talk about this. Mac, how do you feel about this?
Do what?
How do you feel about what I just said?
I think I will do pretty good with time management. I've worked, so I have a side gig I do for making YouTube videos, and I've had to manage my time with that type of stuff, and I'm pretty good at it. So I think time management won't really be a issue for me.
I love it. You've got a clear understanding is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, sir?
I'm not that good at time management, to be honest. So when I work on something, I lose the concept of time. So,
Can you explain that a little more in depth?
like for example, I'm working for a client. It's supposed to take 1 or 2 hours. I think it's my personality. I'm perfectionist, so I'm just like, going over that 100 times, making sure that there is no, red flags or like,
Okay.
so 1 or 2 hour project might take 3-4 hours for me. So
Well, then here's your decision, and this is where everybody struggles, is how am I going to how am I going to grow my real estate business? What can I what can I give to it? What can I commit to it? What can I bring to it that will get me to where I want to be? Where I can do my lead generation, where I can meet people, excuse me, where I can grow my business. What does that look like? You do not have to answer me, and you don't have to think about it this minute, but you do have to think about it. Because this lead generation, you talk to anybody who is successful, and they will tell you that they are regimented, that they have a routine that they can count on. Now, real estate is a different animal because we have to show property, we have to be in and out, so on. I get that. But that the parts of our days, the parts of our everydays are committed to growing our real estate business, because without it, we don't succeed. So that's going to be the dilemma for you, is how do you split the baby to do what you're doing now? I mean, you both have different gigs that you're doing, but you're going to have to tie in your real estate to the extent that you can work on that as well and make that as important as the other thing that you're also doing. And someday it has to be more important than what you're doing, if that's going to take over and give you the sustenance that you need from your real estate. You're going to have to pick and choose as to what's going to make more sense to you, and when can you give more, commit more to your real estate than to your other business. And it may happen, it may never happen, I don't know. Only you will decide that, but you've got to find some time. Try to find, and Nessif, I will ask you, find 1 day and 1 hour that you can fully commit to your real estate. And then grow it from there. And it does not necessarily have to conflict with what else you're doing. So think about those things. And by the way, your lead generation is not sitting and dialing for dollars. That's not what it is at all. It's all kinds of things. It's a multitude of things that we do to create business from a variety of different places. And I'll talk to you more about that tomorrow. So this is very, very real. When I show you here 3 to 4 hours a day when you grow to that and work your same plan every day. You go to your office, you open the door, you sit down, you go to work, you work, however long you're there, turn out the lights, you leave. But your mindset has to be in that office every day. Stay on schedule. That's what I was telling you about Gary Keller, that his money, his ability to create this product, this business, and help so many people achieve their goals of being millionaires, multimillionaires, is because his goals and strategies work. And part of it is your time management. You've got to be in the place where you say, you know what? I've got to do this and I've got to do this. Oh, which one is more important? Well, maybe it's this one, maybe it's this one. You got to figure that out. So you got to pick the one that's most important to your grand scheme of things, your grand plan, and decide, okay, this is what I got to do, and I got to make it work. So no exceptions, emergency only. Let people around you know that you own this day and this time, whatever it is, and then prioritize. If you can prioritize what you're doing and how you do it, again, I've got to do this, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. Usually we get all discombobulated. Try to prioritize the things that need to be done and do the most important things first, and then go down your list. Make a list. Boundaries are helpful. If you're in a shared space, then you have to say no. You're going to have to go, I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you right now. I can't stop for coffee. I can't throw the socks in the dryer. I'm working. I'll do it in a little while when I'm done. This is my time to grow my business. And then distractions. It's hard, like on a Zoom call, if we have noise out here, that we don't get distracted. So we'll have to work with distractions, and then you can delegate when you can, delegate more often as you can, if if you need to. And everybody's situation is different. So I don't know, one works better than the other. I don't know. It's an individual situation. What are you thinking now about your time management? Mac, what are you thinking how this might all fall in place for you, or does it?
I think the way my time management will probably be set up is just through a schedule of working till a certain amount of time, and then so like the way I do it now, like I actually have it on the board right now. What I did today would basically be a list of things that need done in order of importance, and then see what I get done today, and then whatever's left over goes to the following day. It's kind of how
Great.
I see it.
Well, you prioritized it, which is good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Nessa, what about you? What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm tech savvy. I know the digital world and all that. I'm okay with that. But after all, I got myself a wall calendar so I can see it in front of my eyes. So here I wrote like fast track 5 to 8 every day, and I wrote all the other things that I need to do. So I know it's old fashioned. People laugh at me. I have a Google Calendar too, but I don't look at my Google Calendar every hour. So this thing is just up there. So I see it. I cannot avoid it. So it keeps me in track.
I'll tell you what, I I still use a book, and I've just been read the Riot Act over and over about not using Google Calendar on my phone. So I'm getting there. I'm getting better, but I have to have a handwritten. I'm teaching so much that I have to have handwritten check and double check my date so I don't screw up. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, whatever method works out for you, whatever way you can prioritize and organize, you've got to get real and got to realize that your commitment to real estate, it's already cost you a lot of time and a lot of money. And in order to make it work for you, you have to work and you have to make it work. And part of that is your time management and how you're going to get yourself in a mindset to be able to prioritize the real estate piece of your life, so that it becomes the provider. It can be the main provider if you take care of it. But if it gets on the back burner, it never becomes important enough. And that's why people fall away, because it's not important enough to be on the front burner. It's taking second place to everything until we can move it to the front of the pack. it just won't get done. So these are things to be mindful of. I definitely want you to have an idea of the time management piece as you go forward in your business, because it's really got to be top of mind in your head as you decide to grow your business. All right, let me see here. So here are some of the things that you should be doing, which you've probably already done, is create a personal workspace. Again, this is more if you have a shared space, if you're sharing with a roommate, or you're sharing with a partner, or sharing with someone, and you have a dedicated space, or maybe it's a kitchen table, I don't know. But try to figure out where your personal workspace is going to be. And much like Mac was saying, he has a to-do list, he has a priority list. And, what's the best use of my time right now? What does that look like to me? What should I be doing now? Concentrate on taking one care of the task at a time. Unless you can double it, I don't think you would do it well. But don't worry about what you're not doing. Leave that over here. It'll get done because you prioritize what does need to get done. And then ineffective communications. People interrupt all the time. So do we have to take this call? Now we're realtors. Yes, we should take our calls. Yes, we should talk to people. Yes, we should be available. That's a big bugaboo of mine. I think we need to be available. And that's probably one of the things that you had a problem with, Nessif, is being able to contact people or have them contact you. So I'm big on communication. And stop listening to others. Oh, you should be doing this. Oh, you can take time. Oh, yeah, it won't hurt if you take an hour for lunch. Okay, let's just stop out. Yeah, let's do this. We have to take that back. We have to rein it back in, and we have to stop allowing people to get in our way of our success. And mostly it's us. We have to, prevent ourselves from getting it out of our own way. So think about these things as you kind of process what we've gone over tonight and your workspace. Where are you going to see yourself working day in and day out at the same spot? Because if you can create a space that is dedicated to your real estate, you will find that that's the best space for you to actually work in, that will be more creative to put you in a space that you're going to find is most beneficial to your business. If it's not in the office, if it's somewhere outside, what does it look like to be as a real business? Because sometimes we don't get that feeling unless we're in that environment. And by the way, if you need to go to the office, go to the office. If you need to sit at one of the shared tables in the middle of the room there, or wherever they designate for you, go do it. If that works for you, if that's going to get your mind wrapped around your lead gen time and your adding to your database, and those two things are critical. Okay, so let's think about doing it that way. Oops, come back. Now these are some of the time abusers. We've talked about a lot of them. Phone interruption, ding, ding, ding. Do we answer it or don't we? Meetings, scheduled meetings for you right now are a good thing. You need to schedule your meetings and be there. People that just drop in just to shoot the breeze, not a good thing. Inappropriate personal workspace. If you don't have a space to call your own and work from, that's not a good thing. Everything is a crisis. Everybody wants you and they need you now. It's not a crisis unless it's a crisis. So you'll have to figure that out. Delegation. If you can delegate and gives people things to do, then that's exactly what you should try to do. Not wasting other people's times with small talk and yapping when people have their workspace designated and they need to do it. But sometimes you got to say no, and then handling one piece of paper one time. Sometimes we shuffle it around and we think we're busy, and all we're doing is shuffling paper. By the way, that was on the bold, one of the bold things. I'll have to read it to you. And then to organize and prioritize, and both of you are really good at that. So you've already shown that you can organize and prioritize your work. And that is really, out of all of these things, probably that's the most important, is if you organize and prioritize, you probably won't get interrupted. You probably won't, miss doing what you're doing. So this is just an overview as to recognize, what happens when time is being abused like it does. Now, the top producers, all of them, remember that the most important job that they have is lead generation. Again, I don't know any successful agents that don't lead gen every day. Every day they're doing something. This will be more important to you tomorrow when you learn all the different methods and all the different ways that we're going to talk about. But the fact of the matter is that their lead generation, their entry into their database are the two things that they do every single day. All right, those are very, very important tactics that they do. And shoot, I just went to the wrong one. Give me a moment. I got to move something out of the way for me. Here we go. Prospecting. That would be lead generation. It would be talking to prospective people. Remember, I talked about engagement and I talked about relationships. We have to be in the same space with a prospect. A prospect is someone who can lead us somewhere, either for themselves or somewhere else. And top producers have a business plan and they track their results. You don't have results just yet. You will in 3 months because you have a business plan and you have put in your business plan as to what your next 3 months is going to look like to get to your spot, your 3 months, 6 months, and a year that you put into your business plan. So in 3 months, you'll know if you got there, and then you can make the adjustments. And that's when you track your results. What happened between tonight and 3 months from now that I wrote down? Where am I in the equation? Did I hit it? Did I miss it? Am I there? Did I exceed it? You know, what happened? Where am I? And those are all very, very important things to your planning. All right. Your bold laws, all those different things are top of mind. Now, here again, because this is the time management piece, is finding your workspace. You may already have it. You may be sitting in it right now. And that you should commit to time blocking at least the 1 hour on the one day. Choose the days and times. Describe how you plan to market your business. How are you going to separate yourself? Start thinking about your branding. Think about your identity. How you're going to be able to make that pair up with your business and your business plan. And then this last piece, forget it. It does not have to be brought to an in-person meeting with your mentor, but I guarantee they will ask you if you have a business plan, and they will ask you if you have goals. What are your 3 month, 6 month annual goals? What have you projected? What do you plan to do? Where are you going to work from? What are you going to do about lead generation? All of these discussions will happen. So I gave you this just as a primer to help you understand what's ahead of you and have these discussions. So we are at the end of the prescribed plan tonight. I don't think there's anything that I haven't gone over with you. I want to make sure that I've given you everything that I have in my notes. As you look through, do me a favor, look through go with me and look through your sheets. And Mac, you've got all the sheets in front of you?
No, I got them on the computer, just not in paper.
Okay,
I
no.
tried to print that one page, and then my printer seemingly broke.
Do me a favor. Let's do this. Don't print anything. I want you to go sheet by sheet and tell me what's on it, other than the slides.
Starting where?
Just start with the first sheet you come to in the stack. The first
The first one would be the one that says a business plan is your personal guide to keep you on track as you move through your year.
Forget that. The business plan is at the 7th. No, does it have the 7 steps?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go past anything that we've already talked about. Let's do it that way. If we've already discussed it, go by it. Go ahead, Nessa.
Yeah, I'm checking it too. So,
I want to make sure that I've covered everything that you had for tonight. And I want to answer all of your questions. I want to make sure I don't leave any Mysteries, I want to know how you felt about tonight. Do you feel that we've hit the very basic level of starting a business, the understanding that you are business owners, that how you're going to get paid, it's on you. Your commitment to the database, your commitment to the timing and to lead generation, to establishing a workspace, to recognizing and utilizing your time.
The only ones I'm seeing you might not have went over here so far,
Go ahead.
and you might have went over it and I just forgot, but
It's okay.
this is what it looks like.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to, hold on. Hold on. I'm going to let you share. And you can share that with us. How's that? Now you can share. Go ahead.
I'll screen share.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I will stop my share. Hold on a minute. Let me get out of that.
Okay, I have two screens, so it's gonna look a little weird when I
That's
do it.
okay. I'm just
Oh,
trying to get out. I'm trying to get out of my
Okay.
share. Give me a minute.
Can you see what I'm sharing?
I will in a minute because I got to clear my screen out. There we go. Now I can see you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we went over this one. I don't think we did. MLS.
Let me just tell you what's going on there. A lot of the things are in there that Keller's going to go over with you. MLS
Okay.
information is one of them. There are things I bring you certain amount of information so that you're prepared for when they bring you the rest of it. You're not ready for MLS yet. So I don't teach that to you.
Okay, so
So
then after that, I think this is a follow-up on the
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pamela
MLS
will,
stuff.
none
yeah,
of that.
Pamela will go over that with you, all of that.
Okay, that's all MLS. So yeah, so don't even go there. If you go to the beginning of the book or the beginning of your process, yeah, okay.
We
Let's
covered
start.
everything.
There we go. We've done everything, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I don't think anybody's gonna mind if I rest my voice so I can talk to you tomorrow. But
Or
I want to make sure, I want to make sure I've answered all of your questions from tonight. And I also want to find out, I'll ask you now and then I'm going to ask you tomorrow. Was there one or two things that were really important to you tonight? Nessa, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think the sheet that you showed what sticks out the most. I think I'm gonna print that and frame it.
The bold laws.
Yeah, and one thing you said, lead generation, education, and database is your most important things. Like I think that is true, and so far I haven't probably realized the importance of those things, but actually that's really the bread and butter of your business. That's gonna make you, you know, successful in the long run if you stick to those: lead generation, education, your database, and all that. So
You've hit the nail on the head, my friend. But I can't make you do it. I can't
yeah,
force you to go to classes. I can't force you to go to training, nor can Keller Williams. They will invite you and they will
exactly.
ask you to participate and to come, and they will lay a menu, a smorgasbord of classes and trainings in front of you. And then you have to accept what you want or not accept it. So, but it's all going to be there. And they're all important. But any of these successful people that walk around that building, they're exactly what we're talking about. Exactly what we're talking about. And you already know that. Thank you for that. Mac, what are you thinking?
Thank you.
I like the bold laws, and then I also liked just writing out my goals and actually having to think about it a little more in depth. Um, I like the time management stuff. Um, yeah, I really
Here's
liked writing the goals just because I had stuff in my head, but I never actually like structured it and thought about it like that, you know?
They won't be real until you write them down.
Yeah.
And now that you've written them down, you can look at them, you can read them, you can adjust them. Nessa, if you know, you've done this already. You can expand them, you can shorten them, you can do whatever you want. Your goals and your business plan, as I said earlier, it's a living, breathing document. It grows, it expands, it contracts, it does all of these different things,
Right.
but it reflects you. It's from your soul. It's what you want to bring to your business. And those are the things that are really important. And that's what, all of us are different from each other. So what you envision and what he envisions and what I envision for my business are all different. But how we get there is up to us. So here's what I'm going to invite you to do, because we are finishing a little early tonight. And technically you're still in class. So what I would like you to do is I would like you to spend the next 30 minutes or so, 30, 40 minutes if you can, start writing your business plan. Start at least maybe looking at those 7 steps and look at your goal setting, look at those different things, print out your bold law and those things we just talked about, and then utilize our time together on your own to do the things that you're going to need to do anyway.
Good.
And I will look forward to seeing you gentlemen. I've had a just delightful session with you guys tonight. And I apologize for my voice, but hopefully I'll be a little better tomorrow. And I will see you tomorrow evening. Bring me your questions.
Alrighty.
If you have questions or concerns or anything you want to know about anything regarding real estate, bring it on. I'm happy to help you.
Yeah, it'll be a Zoom call tomorrow as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I
Sounds good.
can't go anywhere for the next couple of days.
Okay, no problems. Hope you feel better. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you with Mac.
Nice meeting you too.
What's that? Oh, Mac, a pleasure meeting both of you. Nice seeing you again, Nessa.
Yep. See
Thanks,
you guys.
guys.
Bye.
Appreciate you.